We've got Joel versus Daniel here. Oh, they just got signaled to start. Yeah, so we've got Joel versus Daniel here. What's going to be interesting about this game is that Joel has been down paired to Daniel. So if Joel were to win this game, he will be 4-1, and he is definitely in. But if to Worlds, but if Daniel is to win, he's 3-2, and both of them are maybe in. But I have to stress that it's a maybe, and that makes it a little compelling to kind of see what's going on here. Joel knows David Walsh, and he also brought Vibranium Shield. I think it's interesting to include 2 copies of a die you're probably not going to purchase, because it kind of throws your opponent off the trail that you might be using it only for the global. Same thing with the Goblin Attack Force this morning from Sean Eli, that I think a second die could have been a little bit more misleading about the true purpose. So, spending 3 for a polymorph, holding on to a wild that's going to be used for Professor X. Nothing terribly surprising here. And we see Daniel getting ready to roll 6 sidekicks. He's doing some pretty straightforward Black Widow patch type stuff. Not using the Ant-Man for the gimmick quick win, but there's still some pretty fast wins involving Black Widow and the Hulk as far as patch is concerned. Both players opting to bring the polymorph basic action card, so we're probably going to see a lot of sneaking guys into play this game. Okay, so Daniel's really thinking this over, because losing the game matters a lot more to Daniel than it might to Joel. I think Joel is in this position of he'd feel silly to have thrown it away, but this is Daniel's last grasp. So he's still trying to figure out what does he need to re-roll versus, oh, do I just want to keep stuff and do bolty things? Nope, he's going to get Nick Fury and pass. So he's going to go for a big ramp and try and get some double damage out of that Black Widow. The fact that Joel has brought Relentless is actually oddly helpful for Daniel, because he's going to be able to force his attackers through more readily and then use bolts for invulnerability. Invulnerability happens to be the superior choice here over Anger Issues, despite the fact the globals have the same effect, because the cost is more compatible with Too Cool for Words, even though Daniel is running fist characters like Black Widow and Hulk. Okay, so Joel goes for a formerly Weapon 10. I said that he knew David Walsh, but this is exactly I think what I could picture Dave doing, because going for the polymorph, going for the Weapon 10, and just saying like, hey, I'm gonna drop you down to that precipitously low amount of life that you have to play the defense game when it might not be what's best for you overall. So, curious to see what Daniel does here. He's probably going to reroll those characters, because as good as that much energy is, gotta have something to do with it. Okay. He's rolled all his dice, so we know that it's just a matter of rolling the right stuff on them. It's minimum of the 2 characters, but then probably one of the shields. No? Okay. Oh, well, that didn't change a darn thing for him, so let's... Okay, so he's gonna spend 6 Hulk time. Wouldn't be unreasonable if he spent 4 here to grab the second copy of Patch, because he's already had some bad luck with it, and this could help minimize that. Instead, he spends 1 shield. No? Okay. Yeah, there's not a valid space for him to spend a single shield, so he spends 3 for the polymorph. Okay. So that shield can only come into play really if Joel tries to do some damage, and he decides, no, I'd prefer to use your Vibranium Shield Global. And this is the big reveal moment. Okay, so Joel might choose to keep the fist energy on Wolverine and reroll the polymorph because it could just easily have him sneak into weapon 10. Well, I heard some applause, so someone's had a positive result somewhere in the room. HeroClix, some kind of HeroClix win has gone off for someone, so congrats to them. Okay, so polymorph is going to instead just pay to put weapon 10 into play. I believe he's on his level 2 face. So in the old meta, having 3 sidekicks alongside your Wolverine is a huge liability because someone would use Mr. Fantastic on them and you wouldn't be able to get the bonus. Today, though, that would only be an issue playing against Remington because he's been the only player we've seen really use the force attack. Oh, I take it back. Sean Eli, I think, might have had Mr. Fantastic. Someone did. Of course, the Professor X Global. So Daniel's going to get a chance to grab 4 of his dice next turn out of what we've seen in his use pile, plus the die that's in his reserve pool will also be going in. So in a wild turn of events, he could end up with the Poly, the Black Widow, and the Patch, but it's pretty unlikely. So Daniel prevents one of the damage and goes instead. We're going to. Oh no! It was level 3 Wolverine. Oh boy, that's Joel is one turn away from winning the game if things go his way. It's really crazy. Ooh. So Daniel definitely wants to hope for a free Nick Fury here. And he misses Nick Fury again completely. So that's getting rerolled. Polymorph is getting rerolled. He's going to need to keep at least one of the sidekicks, because keeping one of the sidekicks is going to make sure that he's able to go and maybe buy a Hulk and start getting some damage. Part of the weird thing about Vibranium Shield is the way that people can use Slifer defensively by pinging their Hulk during their opponent's turn means that now the Vibranium Shield actually becomes the aggressive component to say, hey, no, I won't let you damage yourself so you can't do all this damage to my guys. Okay, so 5, 6, 7 energy. Could just buy another Hulk, but then he's kind of throwing away the polymorph opportunity to go for that play later. Might be. Oh, the hater blockers come on from Joel. I don't want to assume that I've inspired anybody with some of my eyewear, but that could be flattering, I guess. So Daniel could overpay for a Black Widow and then do some PXG ramp. Just kind of hope that he makes it through the next turn. He could buy a polymorph and then just have one more opportunity to get what he wants. But this is an unfortunate position for Daniel. We've seen a few times during the weekend that you just need to play to win, assuming things don't go your opponent's way, because if they go your opponent's way, you just have no chance. Okay, so spending. Oh, he was going to spend 3 and then decided against it and had to move the energy back. I imagine Joel is puzzling through this too to some extent. He's trying to think, okay, what would I do if I were in his shoes? Do I have an answer to that? One of the situations is going to be interesting in an Age of Ultron environment. Yeah, so he grabbed the polymorph die there, which I think is the way to go. In in an Age of Ultron environment, the basic action card Infiltrate would allow you to try and make some weird play with Iceman and Nick Fury, where you can make Iceman into an Avenger and then double his attack before Patch kicks in. And that would be an enormous amount of damage. But it's kind of expensive, kind of tricky to pull off, so not too bad that things like that exist. Okay. So this is kind of none of what Joel would need to make a formerly Weapon 10 kill happen. I don't think he keeps the sidekick. I don't think he keeps the polymorph. Yeah, okay, so he's going to keep a single bolt. It gives him sort of a play if he uses too cool for words. Desperation. Nothing really fancy here. He's got 4 energy, 2 of them being fists set aside, as if maybe that Wolverine is something he'd go for. It seems pretty likely. What to do with the remaining energy? The answer is probably PXG ramp. Because why not? Still leaves him two left over, and those could turn into a Zarina. There's even the opportunity for you to use the Blue Eyes Global to KO a sidekick to help purchase that Wolverine and have some energy left over. You could also go for the Hulk, because big guys are cool sometimes. And that's a lot of energy moving. It's probably a Hulk. I feel like I disagree a little bit that he didn't choose to use the Blue Eyes Global to make it cheaper to get to keep that third wild energy, because it would also let him ramp 1 additional purely from the sidekick being knocked out. And I don't feel as if blockers are something he needs to worry about. Oh no, blockers are something he needs to worry about, because I take it back. It's not the blockers. It's being able to use Vibranium Shield more times than Daniel could use Slifer is probably what the more important concern is. And, you know, Relentless is going to probably deal with the sidekicks. It's that bad roll really, I think, could have turned things around for Daniel. So Daniel's got to figure out, how can I afford to field the characters I want to field and then pay for the effects I want to pay for? And I think he has it. I don't know if it's apparent to him yet, but he might choose to reroll Black Widow, but I think Daniel's got this game. Has to be frustrating for Joel. Wow, that turned around. There are people who are probably sitting at home watching this or watching this, after it's no longer live and thinking like, oh, I can't believe that happened. But there are other people who are sitting around thinking, oh, this only doesn't happen to me. I'm so glad that someone else goes through this, whether it's the Joel side or the Daniel side. 3. Oh. So I don't think he has it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I guess I will talk a little bit.
Yeah, so Kelly Davies is here with me, and he's just been quietly listening because he's afraid to say something that would embarrass both of us. But here he goes.
Assuming that Hulk wasn't level 1, he would have been able to actually Slifer and knock out. And with Patch out there, though, he would have actually had it.
Yeah, so what I thought he was going to do is reroll the Black Widow to try and get energy.
Yeah.
And then that would give the energy to field the Hulk. He could use 2 cool for words to turn sidekicks to bolts.
Yep.
And then he'd be able to ping Hulk enough times that Joel couldn't Vibranium Shield all of them. Oh, but no, Joel left himself open anyway. So
it's just an awkward game all around.
Yeah, I'm gonna tear into somebody when they get over here. No, it's been a long day. It's a long weekend overall, and so Daniel just needs to ping his Hulk and then attack for game.
Yes.
He could just lose his mind and take the Hulk and then prevent the damage on his own, though.
I just think that Joel knows that he has the Wolverine in his bag, and he's sitting there just thinking about that. And he's probably just overlooking things on the table.
Yeah. Oh, Daniel passes. Perhaps we watching over the game have missed something, and they can fill us in. But now it's anybody's game again.
Yeah.
just like that. But Daniel can prevent 2 Hulk pings, and Joel might need a Hulk ping, so that's awkward for him.
Yeah. And then Daniel is Jade Giant, right?
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's Jade Giant.
Those are. I can reach and grab the team sheets where I'm sitting, thankfully. Okay. Yeah, so Daniel has Jade Giant, and
that's probably why I didn't ping.
That is
because
okay.
He can wipe it.
Yeah, I'm sure someone in the chat caught that, and I'm not viewing the chat right now, so thanks, guys. Okay, much better.
Now it makes a lot more sense.
It makes so much more sense. Yeah, so Vibranium Shield is really good against Jade Giant by comparison to Green Goliath, and that's interesting considering the metagame shift we experienced from Canada.
I just think the reason so many people flock to Jade Giant is because Green Goliath against Green Goliath, it's a moot point. But Jade Giant, you can answer their Green Goliath with it.
Yeah. I really liked Mind Flayer as an answer. I saw that going around.
Yes.
I'm not convinced it's the best. It's just a really fun one. And also, the fact that it's a capture.
Yes.
So they don't really get to cycle the die. They might need to go buy another copy. Okay. Joel might have passed the turn there with the most energy you've ever seen someone have in their reserve pool in your Dice Masters career. I don't know. Oh, so the only Fist Global is Doomcal, and that's not going to happen on your opponent's turn. But there are 2 copies of it for your global pleasure.
Yeah, that was definitely an awkward usage of energy there.
I mean,
he could have at least bought invulnerability just to do it.
Yeah, and
or even one of his polymorphs, one of Daniel's polymorphs. Oh, well,
no, his.
Running.
Yeah, buy a poly. Who cares? Yeah, it's gonna be a slugfest here. Okay. So what's he gonna buy, and what's he gonna poly?
Polymorph in, Serena in.
Okay.
It's extra damage. Might as well.
it's extra damage, and it demands a block.
I'll take a Widow for a sidekick every day.
Yeah, that's a good swap. Okay. So Joel's thinking about this, like what do. Gonna be interesting to see what happens here. I think a large part of Daniel's advantage here is the fact that Joel doesn't have a Hulk out yet to defend with. He doesn't have the ability to punish for the Black Widow lack of spin down. I would just try and cruise for that damage.
Yeah, definitely. At least that way, if he puts any type of offensive pressure on him, then he's going to have to think about defense as well.
The one downside of that, of course, is the fact that the sidekicks would get knocked out, and Joel would have a chance to reroll them, maybe giving him the resources he needs to overtake Daniel. But I don't know about that.
I would just personally swing with the two Black Widows, because at least he can push 4 damage through, even if he chumps him.
Yeah. And even heck, test the waters with one of them. Just I don't know.
Just get a tick on the board at least. Something.
Yeah. So so Joel did an interesting play here. He targeted his sidekick with Slifer, and then he prevents the damage with a Vibranium Shield. So he'd have 2 in his reserve pool, in his use pile to use Professor X's Global. That was the least efficient means to possibly get 2 energy to your prep area. Like, spend 3 to get 2. It's somehow not bad, given the situation, but it's... So, Kelly's gonna peace out, but it was nice having with us for a little bit there. A lot going on at Origins. People want to hang out with their friends. Always nice when people can come spend a little extra time with us talking about Dice Masters, especially somebody as good as Kelly Davies, Nationals finalist, and someone who's pre-qualified for World Championships. Okay. Okay, Joel's rolling, and he can field and ping the Hulk, and then immediately lose his own Hulk. He needs to try and figure out how many damage he's got to deal to his opponent's Hulk in order to make his Hulk get a knockout. He's still going to lose on... still going to have an unfavorable exchange, but overall, being able to get Jade Giant off the board just might be critical. I don't know if Joel's realized yet that by rerolling Polymorph, he has an opportunity to get rid of his opponent's Jade Giant and then field his own Hulk and ping it. Okay, so we were probably wrong last time. We were like, oh, game on table. But this time, it's not how I feel. The Polymorph goes 50-50 to seal the game here. Oof. Just woof. Daniel taking that 2 damage off of Black, potentially taking that 2 damage off Black Widow. It's almost a benefit. So just let him remove a character, Black Widow or Hulk. It doesn't really matter. Interestingly enough, neither player has made use of Doomcal in this game. Okay, so Joel passes. Joel is actually really content to play a slow game here, because if the game does go to time and the players do end up with a tie would result in Joel being 3-1-1 and making it in, whereas Daniel will be 2-2-1 and end up missing. Okay. So there is no way. No, sorry. Yeah. Daniel needs 3 bolts to KO Green Goliath. So let's see how he tries to get there. And go. Okay. So Mask is pretty good, but it wouldn't be entirely surprising if 2 Cool Forwards were to spin a bunch of those guys. I'm gonna spin one of the sidekicks to a bolt, spin the fist to a bolt. You only really gain 1 bolt at that point. It's pretty feel bad, especially when it doesn't necessarily give you the effect you need. You would have to spend a third energy to being a bolt, at which point you are gonna start missing out on ramp opportunities. When it's clear that your opponent will still have their ramp intact. I think you need to forego the poly this turn. Okay. Daniel's definitely got a lot of analysis to go through here. Invulnerability is unlikely to matter this game because Daniel will be in such a position of needing other things. Okay. So polymorphed in Zarina. So this is a huge turn for Joel. So he prevents the damage, and ooh, this is that gotcha kind of moment that David Walsh talked to us about earlier. So bolt is spent, damage is prevented. So then Daniel has to realize, like, oh, I can trade wild for wild here for no effect. But that's still not a good trade. But if he doesn't do that, then Joel can end up using the wild to ping his own hole, and Daniel can prevent it. They're kind of weird stalemate. It's such a bizarre stalemate to kind of sit there and say, oh, it's not that I believe either player could lose. It's that I believe either player could win. Oh, okay. Okay. Excuse me. So now it's time for Daniel to try and make a big push. Nope, not this turn. So Joel ends up taking a damage to roll an extra die. For the die he could not roll. And so Joel's down to 15 life at this point. Hulk's getting right back in the game. This time, the polymorph would not be able to get rid of J-Giant. And so Joel is just trying to mentally work through, like, so what if I ping my Hulk and explode his field minus the Hulk? Can I get around it after that? Do I care? So if he had rolled the right stuff for that Wolverine, this would be a very, very different game. Ooh. Really not this could go any number of ways. And let's try and make the plan for Joel here. If Joel had Bolt characters on his team, I think this would be going a little bit better for him, because he would be able to buy some Bolt characters and hope for the energy, so invulnerability would allow him to sneak through a sidekick and win with them. Okay, so, but Joel's also pigeonholed that he can't buy new dice, because if he buys new dice, the Hulk can get swapped for them, and that would be damaging for him. And the odds that he'll be able to get big enough to have the resources to survive and have a second copy of the Hulk die is also not so good. Okay, so Daniel's gotta be thinking about rerolling that polymorph face. But, I mean, then again, why? There's only one shield available to Joel right now, and it's in the form of a wild. So Daniel could easily go ping ping to his own Jade Giant. Rerolling the poly to buy an invulnerability is probably not that good. Reason that's not such a good play is because there's the opportunity for Daniel to clutter up his bag. Excuse me. Okay. So, good. Daniel's again removed the Hulk as an option for his opponent. He'll be able to have some ramp this time. I think Daniel just has to start swinging every single turn with the Hulk. And get blocked, who cares? If he gets blocked, he's gonna get to knock out a second character, and sure, that's gonna give some resources to Joel, but it's the only way he's gonna ever make it through this wall of sidekicks. So Joel used I believe the Blue Eyes Global to KO his own sidekick, so you have some additional ramp. So I have Nick Pham about to jump on the microphone with me here, and the game could end at any moment. So I hope that things don't end before Nick gets a chance to kind of weigh in. So Nick, what are your thoughts on this game state right here?
I'm still trying to figure out what the game state is.
I'm gonna change your mic a little. Okay. So it is Daniel's turn right now.
Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Joel missed it.
Joel's on the back foot.
Yeah.
If that's a green Goliath and not
it's a Jade Giant on Daniel's side. So Joel had this weird opportunity where he could have he could have re-rolled the polymorph die so it wasn't energy, and polymorphed the Jade Giant into a Black Widow that was in the use pile, and he didn't re-roll it. He used it as the energy to field his own Hulk, and then that face-off is always an awkward face-off.
It is.
You just need so many more bolts than them to try and make it a trade, not even an advantageous situation.
It looks like a level 1, so I guess you need 3 bolts. You gotta ping it twice, and then you can activate your Jade.
Yeah,
it's really awkward.
And then you have to do it through your own vibranium shields because like Daniel's been having shield energy to spend on stuff.
Yeah, he's got problems.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't too bad because
now he
can clear
the Wolverine.
How much defense does the Nick Fury have? Is that level 1? If it's level 1, then he's
not.
In a good place.
It's a 1 fielding cost 1, so I think that might be level 3, but I'm not sure.
So what Joel wants to try to roll for, because I don't think he's re-rolled yet, is if he can get a second mask. Oh, he didn't re-roll. See, what he wanted to do there is he wanted to re-roll the sidekick, and if that comes up as a second mask, he can Relentless, the Jade Giant, and the Nick Fury.
Well, he can Tuchel forwards here and turn a bunch into bolts.
Oh, will that do it?
I think it'll do it.
If he pings,
he can.
Yeah, so if he pings, so he needs to field the Wolverine because Daniel's at 9. Wolverine deals 9.
Yeah. He has to fill Wolverine after he lets the Hulk knock someone out.
Yes. So he does that. He pings Nick Fury down so that he gets knocked off. I think he's doing that.
Yeah.
And then he pings the Hulk, which clears everything but Hulk. Hulk gets Relentless.
Oh.
Wolverine.
Whoa, no, he's done something different.
What?
I think he just pinged.
No, I think he pinged the Hulk first. So most likely the Nick Fury's still there, and then
no, because then who got knocked out by?
Oh, there's no magic missile. Oh wait, there is a magic missile.
There's Slifer.
so the rest of the Slifer knocks out.
Okay.
The Nick Fury.
And then
Wolverine
he can
gets Relentless.
Passed. Yeah. Whoa. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. Daniel didn't have a bolt. That Dice Master Cement is throwing me off. It's like position.
Oh yeah. You see, this is what you learn about your products, right? You put something on the table and you're like, oh, that's what. Oh. Okay.
Yeah. That was some pretty tough, lethal to see.
Yeah. So that's I'm glad that Joel pulled that. So Joel was actually 3-1 and Daniel was 2-2. So
Oh, really?
if Joel lost, they both might make it, and instead this way Joel's guaranteed and Daniel's dreams are crushed, which is kind of rough. And that's part
so rough.
That's part of what makes it such a compelling game, and it's one that they couldn't have like intentionally drawn because one person goes home with something, the other would go with nothing. It's irrational.
Yeah, well, that was sick.
Yeah, that ending was really big.
Yesterday, Weapon 10 wasn't performing for me at all, so I like gave up on it. But
How'd you end up finishing today?
I finished 4-1, so
Oh, 4-1,
I'm moving
good.
into the next one.
Oh, okay. So I've been giving something special to people who have had that good a record. I'm gonna. Who is the